Whether you are an owner, landlord, or you own renters for years, this video could save you thousands of dollars and help you avoid costly legals and financial mistakes. Stay tuned until the end because we have 11 tips and tricks that would definitely help you as an investor, that it will help you change your financial trajectory. These 11 tricks or lessons are what investors or many new landlord overlooked. So we're gonna dive in and talk about it. Stay tuned.
You're listening to the Real Estate Growth Investor Circle Canada with your host, Gob. This is a safe space for immigrants, entrepreneurs, and future investors who are learning, growing, or taking their first steps in real estate. Here, we move with patience, focusing on clarity, confidence, and progress, one step at a time. Each episode is about real conversations, simple explanations, and honest stories from people who started right where you are and didn't give up. If you've ever felt overwhelmed, unsure, or discouraged, you're not alone. This podcast is here to guide, encourage, and remind you that growth is possible. Welcome to Growth Investor Circle to Real Estate Investing in Canada and around the world. Here's Gob.
Welcome back to Growth Investor Circle Canada, and I want to share something even every landlord and even experienced investors needs to hear. These are 11 expensive lessons landlord or learn after losing thousands of dollars. The lesson number 1 would be most people become landlord and because they think buying a property creates passive income. Make you a successful landlord, and many people buys investment property, then they rent to the first applicant. They ignore screening process. They don't understand Ontario's laws. They treat rental property as a side hobby, and then they are surprised when everything goes wrong. Bad tenants, missed rent, property damage, legal dispute. The truth is simple. Buying a real estate is easy. Managing a real estate as a business is the big problem there. Well, it's not a big problem if you apply these, principles I'm going to give you so you can learn the best way. Well, that is the first mistake is they don't take it serious. They don't run it as a business. They just look at it as a side job. But if you make that mistakes, definitely you will end up with bad tenants, missing rents, legal dispute, and truth is you can take it as a business. Just do it as a business. Take everything serious. Screening process, document it. Have processes. Business has processes, and you have to have the processes if you're going to run it as a business. Your business has systems, so you have to have your systems ready to help you running this business that you are creating. So it's so important. I cannot stress enough about this. Let's talk about mistakes number 2, the cost of not knowing. Let me ask you a question. What happens if your tenant stops paying rent? What happens if you don't know the Residential Tenancies Act? What happens if your screening process violated the human rights codes? What happens if one bad tenant costs you 6 months of rent? What happens if an emotion replaces business decisions? One mistake can cost you tens of thousands of dollars, sometimes more, but the biggest expense isn't a repair, is ignorance. Not knowing, the cost of not knowing, it puts you at risk. So some landlord, they start even reading the Tenants Act once they have an issue. They don't prepare. They are not prepared for the issues. They learn as the issues appears. But a wise start by learning all this before the problem appears. So it's asking us to be a little bit proactive, to be a little bit involved into learning, joining the communities where the tenancy board, where people discuss about these issues before you even get your first tenants. So you can be aware. You can never be prepared at full, but at least you can have the tools in your hand and the resources you need when the problem arises. That is where I'm talking about, because the matter of not knowing, Engo, the truth of not knowing here, not knowing means ignorance. Ignorance. Why ignorance? Because there is, with the AI and with the amount of information that we get, it's inevitable for someone to have these issues, to not pay attention to what we are saying, what other people are sharing. We are in an era where information, it's always there. So lacking of not knowing, it's just, I'm not blaming the landlord, because I know they have a lot of job to do and they have to follow up with their tenants. It can be really a mess or it can be frustrating. And I have experienced this in the past, and it could be mental draining. And you have to just understand that being prepared could save all that hassle. That's what I'm trying to explain on my trustee board here. The lack of not knowing, it puts you many times at risk. Get your information ready, get your process ready, and just start learning these tenancy act. What to do when this happens is to build a whole scenario of problems and the way you can deal with them once they arrive. You know where to go the first. You know who to ask. You connect with others, landlords. Go join many Facebook groups where there is landlord talking about their problem. So being prepared, it helps you a lot. Lesson number 3. Know the Residential Tenancies Act. I cannot stress enough about this. Learning that document help you knowing what to know violated. You don't want to end up with a fine of 100,000 because you didn't just apply the right regulation to the situation that happened, or you were not documenting your truth, your facts. I would stress out to all the landlord. Once you start document everything, it shows you, it gives that tenants who lives in your house that you are serious about your business and you care about your business, and they will behave when they see you documenting, keeping track of everything. It puts you in a position where you have control of what's going on in the house, and especially if you are self-managing it yourself. So it seems like a hard work, but that hard work pays in the long run. Because if you end up with a bad tenant who doesn't pay, that could cost you thousands and thousands of dollars. So rather put the energy in to build systems that put you in a position of documenting everything. I'm going to give you a story. One landlord that we were talking with, and they had these new tenants who she has the process right. She has everything documented. And one day she got this tenant who had a request to have a bird as an animal, and she just didn't think it would be an issue to have a bird, but she just imagined the bird will be staying in the cage. It won't be free. So she did not ask the right question. She went outside of her process and accepting that tenants. So the bird had damaged everything in the house, and the property manager had to go and deal with all of that, and it wasn't pleasant after the situation. Just shows you that never go above your process. So we have those process for you. You made them clear, so you must not go above what you already set. You have to get a document for animals, for lease of animals. In some province, you need to sign that lease to have animals in your property. And you have to do that. It's so important that you always going to request it if you have it in your process. And you have to follow the rules that you set yourself. Going above those rules, as we saw in the example I showed, it puts you at risk already. I hope this is clear for everyone. Let's dive in the lesson number 4. We said we have 11 to go through. Number 4 is understanding the Ontario Human Rights Code. You can screen tenants, but you must screen legally and consistently. Well, screening process it must be legally and consistently. Those are the key. If you want to just learn a little bit about problems in human rights, what to do, what to not do, because there are so many you can, that would set yourself in trouble if you don't follow it correctly. So screening process are so important, and you must be consistent in your screening process. Don't go above them. Follow them every day. If someone doesn't have a document, it doesn't pass the process, just let them go. Or you would rather have a vacant property than having the risk of putting someone there who won't be able to pay you for months and months and legal issues after. So I would rather have a vacant property in that case. So you have to understand this, and you have to keep learning, because these problems, if you are an investor, if you are a landlord, they might be there all the time, but you just have to, if you have strong process in place. I know a landlord who never had to deal with this problem because they have the process. They have the strong process in place. So they never end up with a bad tenant situation. They are always tracking. They're always following the new regulation. If the new regulation comes in place, they will always inform themselves. So if you always inform yourself, especially when we talk about new regulation like human rights codes, and we talk about Residential Tenancies Act, those are the regulations that might change during, amended. We have to keep reading about these changes, because when you are not aware a new law that just come, you are missing up and you are vulnerable. So learning amendment that would definitely protect you. So keep learning court decisions. You just keep you updated, informed, learning to stay safe. Lesson number 5, document everything. I like that one because it's where people, sometimes you are busy, sometimes you just don't, you're tired, and they just trick you sometimes. Sometimes tenants are smarter. I heard this such a like professional, tenants, and I hear that terms people use to say that the tenants more professional. You have to be professional than the tenants. You have to be, it's your house. You will not let someone just come into your house and, give you trouble. You have to show them your process, so you would be the one who's professional. Know them. So I will not blame landlord, especially those who are working hard to keep their property and also to keep their property safe, and also their investment. I'm not blaming you. I'm definitely support landlords, and I also hear tenants. But this episode, the process is to only give you the insight of the problems of what's going on and what's not going on. So documenting your everything, it's so important. When you start documenting, it gives you these, like I say before, it puts you in a position that you are not missing something that might turn out to be a problem later. I hear so many landlords saying, I should have done this. I should have put it this way. I should have done that this way. But I should have, it's already late. So whenever you have doubt about a situation, you have to document it. Whenever there is a request for a tenant, document it. And then when there is an issue, you can actually show to the court that they agree on this, and it's in writing, and they agree on it. They went against it. So this is what save you after. So documenting everything help you. Every inspections documented, every repair documented, every conversation documented. Document protects everyone, not just the landlord, even the tenants themselves. Because if you are documenting everything, then it protects everybody. It's a win-win game. So I don't think it would be a problem for you to not doing it. Just not doing it, it puts you at more risks. Lesson number 6, have written systems. Written systems means leases, moving inspections, maintenance procedures, communication templates. Business runs on system, not on memory. Because memory you can forget, but systems, they are there to, to keep running the business. And there is no such a things that tenants moved in and you are not inspecting your property. You are not before and after. You take picture. You make sure everything was in a place where it's supposed to be, and you show them that you care about your property. Once you show them that you care about your property, they will definitely care more about your property. Once there is an issue, you go to repair. You don't just leave it like that, because the moment you're gonna show them that you are lacking to track or to fix problems in your property, they will destroy it. Because this is how just human nature, once you stop paying attention on something, it gets whether worse. It always gets worse if you stop paying attention to it. So I would, in my property, I usually, if you have a property and you have a problem, you will not leave it. You will just run and fix it before it gets worse. And when you fix and the tenants also is taking care of your property, you are showing them that you cut the grass on time. You always on checkpoint. I'm not saying here to bother them, to be like always fixing things when they are not a problem. But when a problem arises, don't ignore them. Don't show them that you don't care. That is what I hear so many with landlord. This tenant is so annoying. I won't pick up the call. It's at 11 at night. They should know to not call me. They should know it puts you at risk already, because that shows you don't have a system in place that tells them the rules, You should not call at this time. A problem is have to be handled this way. If they know you have a system and then you have the way you talk to them in place, they will follow that way. There is no way I'm going to wake up in the middle of the night and then go fix a problem. There is no way, because I make sure I have a process that clearly show them this is the way we operate. And they need to agree on that way, because you have a system in place. You don't let your emotion goes through. We're going to talk about it, emotion, when people start yelling and sort of, sit at a different level of professionalism. So when you have system in place, it tells them what to do when this happens, And some people even heard that they have so good tenants that they didn't have to deal with, all this problem. The tenants knows how the landlord care about their house. It's so obvious they will care about it. When there is a problem, they know the landlord will show up, and then, eventually they will come and they will send someone to fix it. They will know that once they know that you care, and they will definitely start caring of your property. They will not destroy it. So this is something that I hear in so many people's problems. I call this person, never show up. I eventually didn't care enough I did this. The landlord is there also, to protect his house and protect his investment. Well, let's go to, to lesson number 7. Maintain your property proactively. Small repair become expensive repair when ignored. Protect your investment. I just talked about it. That is about what I said. When you show them you don't take care of your property, the small repairs you just don't care. They grew with time. You end up with big problems. You should have fixed it ahead when it was just a small problem. Now it gets too much. Now water start leaking in walls. Now you have to take all the walls and then fix the problem. But at first it was just a water leaking damage. You could have just hired someone, fix the problem, and get rid of it. But when it gets many days, you see waters leaking in the walls, and now you have to fix the upper level, down level, and it just creates too much messes for yourself. I would stress a lot on fixing a little small problem than leaving it to become bigger problem at later. Lesson number 8, separate emotion from business. Don't make decision because you feel bad. Make decision because you are good business and legally compliant. So show them that your business, you are definitely there to save them. if there is a problem, you act with a higher level of professionalism. Your tenants are not your friends, are not your family member. Your tenants must have this, business relationship. I would say you could be nice with them. You could be nice, you could be, but you don't have to cross the lines. You don't have to be their friends. That's where people start, messing up with you, because there is some level of professionalism that would be, in between you guys relationship. And I'm not saying to be rude, to be, because if I had a tenant right in my house, I would definitely, have this business relationship where they can come and talk to me if there is an issue. They can come and they are free to come and talk to me, but I will not cross the lines. I will know the lines. My lines, it's this and that. And I'm the only one who's going to set those lines. Once you start crossing the lines, that's when the problem gets bad. So you have to remember this. They are not your friend. You are running a business. Treat it as a business, period. That's what I have to say about, separate emotion from businesses. Lesson number 9, keep financial reserve. I like that one. I like that one. Tenants didn't pay then there is no way I can pay my mortgage because I don't have enough in reserve. So this is a problem that then people start, emotions start build up, and you don't have to have that in. If you have a reserve funds, it could serve you when there is a leak, when there is a problem like water damage. I talk about water damage a lot. I don't know why, but knocking on wood, I'm not wishing anyone to have water damage. It's the worst. It's the worst one to have. So I will stress about having this reserve for potential problems that might arrive later. It could be for repairs, small repairs. You don't have always to go into it's a business. Remember, we are running a business. A business, what it does, it creates cash flow for you. You are not spending to a business. A business that doesn't create a cash flow must not be a business. Period. If you have a business, it must create a cash flow. If you have a landlord who doesn't, they have negative cash flow, it's not, they are not running a business. You have to know your numbers, always have numbers in reserve in case of a problem, in case a problem arises. So you keep that reserve money that will save you in the future. I like to call it emergencies funds, because we never know. Things can go bad the next day. So like I said, in case you have a vacant property, when you have a vacant property, then you can use that reserve funds to pay until you get the tenants in there. Repairs cost us unexpected expenses, and cash reserve creates peace of mind. Most of that is what I wanted to say. The more money you have in reserve, the more peace of mind you have. That is how I see it. Lesson number 10 is communicate professionally. Clear expectation prevent misunderstandings. Professional landlord creates professional relationship. I think this is really important. That's what I said earlier. When you position yourself as a professional landlord, tenants will know it, and it's just inevitable. They will know it that you take care of your property. The way you talk to them about it. The way you have systems in place. The way you are, it's all about communication. You must learn all of this. You must adapt to changes, and you must understand people's cultures, because you can get tenants with a different culture, different of you have to really knowing people, knowing how to communicate with people. People are still people. You just have to learn how to talk to them differently, understanding people's culture, different barriers, different approach. That would definitely help you in the long run. When you set good expectations and present that prevents misunderstandings in the end, you have your system in place that people follow all the time, and you don't go against those systems that you put in place. Because I stressed out earlier saying that when you decide to go against your systems in place, that's when problems arise. You face problems. So I myself once went against my own my own process, and the damage was just bad, because I had this house, and then I had to put the sign of no smoking in the house, but I trusted a person who was staying in the house to put that sign for me. I even printed and put it there to not smoke in the house. The house must stay clean, not but in the end, the person didn't put it the sign, and yeah, problem happens when you have systems, and you have to make sure you put them in place yourself first. You make sure they are done on the day you said they will be done. Don't rely on family members. Don't rely on friends to do favors for you. Don't rely on coworkers or on partners. It's your business. You have to know that it's the business, and you have to put that time to go do it yourself, and not relying on others people to do it. Lesson number 11, which is the last one, is to keep learning. The laws changes, the market changes, and interest rates changes as well. So successful landlord never stop improving. This is a call for improving, adjusting. So always see the market see the trends, see what is going on, and keep learning all the time. Because you get different people all the time. You can get, unless if you get one tenant, you get lucky to have a good tenant who stay longer and longer in your property. Let's say years and years, you don't have to worry. But if you are in an area where you have multiple doors and you have many tenants, many tenants means many problems. I wouldn't say problems. I'll say many potential problems that might arrive in the future. So always learn how to deal with them. Different culture, different people, different set your criteria. Stay neutral. Always try to understand their background as well. That's where the screening process is so important. When we talk about interest rates changes, maybe there is following the changes in the regulations changes, that also helps you prepare. As I said, this episode was more to prepare a landlord and new investor to be proactive with their investment, to be proactive with their savings, their opportunity to know, like I said earlier, you have to have your expenses, keep your financial record, so you know exactly what to do when there is a problem. And this is everything we had to talk about how to keep consistent with your business, with your investment. Remember, you are just a step away from wealth. You just have to keep learning, improving, and see you again to the next episode.
Thanks for listening to the Real Estate Growth Investor Circle Canada. We hope you learned something valuable today that will help you continue to move forward on your real estate journey. If you need more information or you'd like to reach God for a one-on-one, go to growthinvestorcircle@gmail.com. Join us next time for more tips and proven strategies to grow your real estate business. Until next time, remember, progress comes one step at a time.